So we're going to be asking him some questions. So, Honorable Commissioner, sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. So, in us, in the screen showing, we have some questions that was being asked by some of the participants here. So, I'm going to be reading it out for you, so you can give us your insight about it. And so, the
Okay.
first question that was asked by an anonymous: how does the Niger State government collaborate with organizations like NITDA and others to promote digital literacy?
Okay. If you've been following the news, you would see that I think that was 3 weeks ago. Niger State was used as a was named flag of state for digital literacy for all by NITDA, and we're also working with them to see how we can collaborate on viable digital literacy initiatives. In fact, just yesterday, His Excellency was awarded the Digital Governor of the Year award by Bureau for Public Service Reforms in terms of digital literacy. We've collaborated with organizations like Tech for Dev to start initiatives for digital literacy. But what we done is 2024, we are just piloting for multiple spheres to now have an idea. There was the buildathon for age 10 to 18. So during the third term holiday, from there, we would now know how to do digital literacy for the under 18s. We've done the one for market traders and artisans, which was Hausa and Pidgin English. So we would know how the um, under educated sector would do. We've done that of civil servants, so we would know how we'll take the civil service and a lot more. We've done with Nigerian Export Promotion Council for e-commerce for SMEs to support them in terms of exports. So there are a lot of collaborations we're doing in digital literacy.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Sir. I know, okay, I've really been watching and following Niger State update on LinkedIn, and I've really been seeing most of the things that the Niger State government have actually been um, collaborating and doing to the state. So, over to the next question by one of the anonymous. How has the tech industry evolved in Niger State over the last few years?
Okay. Well, my ministry was created August 2023. So prior to that, it used to be under Ministry of Science and Tech, but the evolution has been on autopilot. That is, there was no much of government direction and involvement in it. So, but gradually, what we see is more of the ecosystem is surrounding the Federal University of Technology, Minna. So our own aim now is in the next coming years how we would move it away from just the academic cycle to now move around the entire sphere. So we have some collaborations coming on board by 2025, where we would now have a maker space in Niger State, which would be an innovation hub focused solely on hardware side of tech as against the software. Then we would see in terms of policies how we can now drive startups to grow in that ecosystem. But for now, I would say the evolution is a bit slow, but it's better slow and steady wins the race, they say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Sir. Truly slow and steady wins the race, and we believe that with what Niger State are actually doing, we will surely get there. So over to the next question. Um, what role does the Niger State government play in supporting tech startups?
Okay, for the role of the government for us now to support startups is we're looking at how we can create the enabling environment and get funding for startups. However, I've been an advocate of government not providing funding for startups because that is like giving grants and peanuts. At the end of the day, it makes startup founders lazy. They have government money, so there is no drive. So what we are working on now is to see how we can start bringing in VCs into the state once we stabilize that ecosystem. So if a VC gives you money or for equity in your business, you cannot play around it. So there is more sustainability, and that way the ecosystem can outlive the present administration.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So yes, over to the next questions. I don't know. Omar, are you on this call?
Yes, I'm here.
Um, yes, yes, yes. So is there room? Should we give the participants some options to ask, or I should continue asking the question?
Well, no, just continue asking. I've already shared a link where they can still continue asking in the form.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So Honorable Commissioner, sir, your so the our next question is, what do you think are the major challenges faced by tech entrepreneurs in Niger State?
The first major challenge would be access to high speed internet. Then, but that we are trying to now solve by providing broadband. In fact, they've started stringing fiber optics around Minna. When we are done with Minna, we would now move to Lapai, Suleja, Bidda, and Co. Then the next is access to funding. So for that, that's why I said we are now talking to some venture capitalists to see how we can bring them in. But that also depends on the ideas that the have. If you are just copying what you're seeing, everybody is doing a clone of Uber, then you know you would not get access to funding. You have to be unique in your ideation. Another thing, again, is a challenge by most of the tech entrepreneurs I've interacted with since I came to office. Everybody wants to do business with government. Most people don't come with an idea of how they would be on their own and not rely on government. That's more sustainable. You want to do business with government, government will owe you. Even if government doesn't owe you, you become relaxed and your innovative drive will go down. So I think those.
I can't hear you, sir. Please, can anybody hear me?
I can't really hear him. I think maybe it's network, but let's wait.
Okay, maybe he wants to
Sorry,
join back.
my network was interrupted.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yes. Okay, so I hope that answers it.
Yes, 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 sir. So over to the next questions. What opportunities are available for the founding tech startups in Niger State?
Okay, yeah, like I said, for now we are working on how to get the VCs in for the funding opportunities. So I can't tell you specifically these are the current funding opportunities. And part of what we're looking at is where when we get these VCs, so we'll be organizing things like a Shark Tank in the state. So startups come and pitch, and we get high net worth individuals as venture capitalists or angel investors to invest in your startups. So, but that would be sometime next year. We'll definitely announce when we start on our social media handles.
Okay, that okay. Thank you so much, sir. So I think today is more of asking you questions. So I'm not the one asking, is people asking. So I'm just actually the one
No,
taking
no
it.
problem. I'm
Okay,
seeing
okay,
them on the screen.
okay, okay, sir. So over to the next question. What are some key tech events and communities in Niger State that tech enthusiasts should know about?
Well, for that, I think GDG would be in a better position to answer that. Currently, I'm only aware of the annual DevFest. I don't know of any other major event. Others are usually in silos around, like I said, if you look at it, the ecosystem now is surrounding Foot Minna. So most of those events happen around Foot Minna, not entirely expanded in the state.
Okay, okay, Peter. Um, so over to the next question. What infrastructure improvements are needed to enhance the tech ecosystem in Niger State?
Well, the first one, like I said, is access to broadband, high speed, reliable internet. That is what we need. And we're already working on that as a government. So once we're able to pull in the private sector, also full involvement, that would be done. Next would now be access to power. But what we say is go off grid now for more reliable power. Then access to the hubs for people to use. For that, we are talking currently with Sterling Bank to set up like an innovation space in Murtala Park. So it would be somewhere you can just walk in, use the internet. There's 24 hours power, and you walk there. And also setting up one cafe like the one you have in Abuja in the state. So gradually, some of those infrastructure deficits will be done away with. But if the person is asking because the person wants to come in as an investor, you can always come in, set up data centers so we can have content delivery networks within the state, and it now makes access, proximity of data closer to our ecosystem. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Thank you, sir. So I hope for the participants here, I hope you guys are actually hearing our honorable speaker speaking and giving us what we actually need to know with the questions we ask. Over to the next question, sir. How can tech startups in Nigeria State scale their operations beyond local? I think I cannot see this very well.
Beyond
Beyond
local
local,
markets.
yes.
Okay. Like I said, a lot of startups, the issue is their thinking is not broad enough. And most of them just focus on Mina. They are not thinking internationally and beyond the state. So it's not up to us to scale up your startup. Scaling comes from even your conceptualization stage. So if your problem statement is only focused on your immediate environment, you can never scale beyond that immediate environment because you don't know the problems elsewhere. So if you design your startup based on the local environment of Minna, you don't expect somebody in Lagos that possibly has had that service for like 5, 10 years to patronize you because they are already patronizing somebody. So the scaling is all entirely up to the startup founder and the team of the startup.
Okay, okay. So over the next question. Omar, please can you scroll the questions up? I can't really see the ones down very well. Omar, are you on the call?
Can you
Okay,
see
so
them now?
yeah, it's okay like that. So sir, over to you, the next question. What future trends and innovations do you foresee shaping the tech ecosystem in Niger State?
Okay, the major trends I foresee for the ecosystem, one is once we have access to high-speed internet, then the ecosystem would actually start evolving on its own without internal or external factors influencing it. Next is people say policies, regulation, and legislation, but I believe they are not the major focus. Because currently, if you look at our state, I don't see any policy or legislation that hampers startups. The only policy most people will now tell you is access to funding. They want grants from state, but that is asking for handouts. So most of the things that would shape that. Sorry, the question is the future trends and innovation to shape the tech ecosystem, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by next year, possibly there would be a very big tech company that is going to start in Niger State. It is going to either consume the startups or make the startups, depending on how the startups want to do. So it's more like what they say in the crypto world, a whale. So it's going to be a startup in the state that wants to start with a 3 billion naira cash backing. So the whole idea is from that money, it's going to start acquiring a minimum of 5% equity in startups within Nigeria to help them grow. So that is definitely going to change the ecosystem once that company comes on board. Then, well, just yesterday, I was at a mixer for venture capitalists in Lagos, and we're talking with them. Most of them are ready to fund, but their problem is they don't know the landscape. So if they give a startup, you run away with their money. That's what they're afraid of. So what we said was, let them start with mentoring. Then if they mentor the startup and they are comfortable, they can now decide to fund. So we'll start having a lot of startup mentorship programs by next year. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so to the next question, how does the state plan on equipping youth and kids with Industry 4.0 technological skills?
I think I mentioned that before. For kids, that's 18 downwards, we've started already. They were introduced to IoT, Scratch programming. I think they used Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and the rest during this holiday. So we're looking at scaling it beyond Minna to other communities. Then also we're looking at how we can introduce digital into the school curriculum for GSS 3 down to primary 1. So if that is achieved, it's going to help a lot. For the youths, for now, our major focus for youths, we believe you should be able to navigate on your own. So it's just to provide more of mentorship than training. Because if you look at the bulk of the youth training that is being done, what follows after? If somebody is not enthusiastic about it, you just waste your time and resources claiming you've trained him. But part of what I'm looking at, I've just started a conversation with QDAX, for example. Uh, Securities and Exchange Commission has given them interim approval to start cryptocurrency in the country, so it is going to be regulated. How we can extend QDAX Academy to the state. So that is something youths can actually plug into instead of just tapping their screens, do proper crypto. Then from there, you would now start having startups around the blockchain ecosystem and Web3. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So we move on to the next question. Would the state be willing to collaborate with Web3 communities in educating and enhancing skills that will provide on-chain solutions and job opportunities?
Yeah, I just mentioned our discussion with QDAX. However, this person is anonymous. I wish the person wasn't anonymous. The person can reach out and we have the discussion and the collaboration can take off. In fact, if their proposition is viable and not requiring the state government to pay for anything, we can even start it by next month. That's November.
Okay. So for those that are asking anonymous questions, I think you guys can just be revealing your names at least to help us a lot. So over to the next question. Is the state government implementing any strategies to utilize technology for improving basic education and digital literacy among teenagers?
Yes, I just made mention of we're trying to see how we can include digital literacy in curriculum for basic education. So that is what we are trying to, but there are still some challenges, especially with the government schools, because most of the first, if you say you're going to buy a tablet for every pupil in the state, we did that calculation, and it will cost the state about 12 million US dollars to equip every child with a device in the state, and that is going to give you upwards of 30 billion naira. And what would you prefer, a child holding a tablet while sitting on the floor, or a child holding a notebook and pencil while sitting on a well furnished classroom? So that has been a tricky decision to come up with, but we're definitely going to get there.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I think most questions have been answered, and I'm really enjoying this section with you. So over to the next question by Abdullahi Kau. What steps is the government taking to create policies and infrastructures for a digital economy in higher education, as seen in developed nations? Any
Okay, so
examples?
I'm just going to, I can see there are three questions from Abdullah Kau, so I'll just bundle them together because they are more focused on academia. So for the academic cycle in the States, I try to not interfere with how they operate, because to give them a level of independence. So, in terms of infrastructure, our agreement with the company that is currently rolling out the fiber metro ring in Minna is any higher institution that falls within the borders of that metro ring, they are still going to have presence inside. So, we're going to start having hotspots springing up around the schools. However, all higher institutions already claim to have internet for their students, and the students pay for that internet part of their tuition. So, what we are doing is we are going to set up a parallel internet service, which would most likely be pay as you go. So, for like, let's say 100 naira a day, you have high speed unlimited internet. If after a year of test running that pay as you go and students say yes, they prefer that, then that payment they do with their school fees, we transition it into the better provider. Issue of research is there is nothing we can do to support research. What I mean by support is all we can give you is data and the likes. But most academia, when they talk of support, they are talking of research grants. For that, you have to go out on your own and look for them. We can help you with the data and access to whatsoever you need. Then, challenges and competitions. For now, we even haven't fully identified the landscape or the ecosystem, so we can't start setting up competitions and challenges yet. When we have a comfortable landscape, that's when we can set up challenges and competitions so that there would be what will follow after the challenge. Now, if you do a hackathon and you have winners, let's say you give them prizes, what happens? Do you take those winners and link them up with a startup and they get full mentorship? We don't have that for now. So until we have all those in place before we can start, then how does the ministry promote collaboration between government, industry, and academia to develop tech talents, enterprise, and incubate the next unicorn? For now, like I said, we first have to stabilize the ecosystem before we start talking of incubation into getting the next unicorns in the state. So I think that answers all.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Abdullah Kau, our Honorable Commissioner, have actually done justice to answer all your questions. So I'm going to ask this by Advocate for Change. Honorable Commissioner, sir, the next question is, we are building an app for students to learn digital skills in my department. How can we find qualified tutors to provide free tuition as university students?
Okay, first thing first, you start with your immediate department. So talk to your lecturers if they can volunteer to give you the content to upload. So that would be your first starting point. Then next, you look for NGOs and development partners that are already in that space. Send them an email or write them a letter, and you definitely get responses from them. Even if not all, you hear from a couple of them and you can start. The most important thing is most people, nobody will want to give you content when your app is blank. They need a first proof of concept. So that's why start from your lecturers. Then also start from yourselves as a team. You developed it, so your first content can even be how the app was developed. How can you? So it can be you are training people on app development. That can be your first course that would be on the app. Within your team, you have people that maybe are good in simple things like Excel. It's content, you put it. WhatsApp for business. A lot of people just know how to use normal WhatsApp. How to use WhatsApp for business? Do that. So once you have some traction and with a good PR strategy, you'd have people sending you requests that they even want to voluntarily put up content on that app. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I am so much enjoying this section. So I don't know if anybody here is really enjoying this, but I am happy to be here. So for the next question, are there any special initiatives to help techies in Minna gain practical knowledge, such as internships in government offices or something else?
Foot Mina. Well, for now, we don't have any, but the school might have. Because Footmina is a federal institution, I try as much as possible not to delve into how they operate. I focus more on the state owned institutions. But for internships in government offices, let's call a spade a spade. Internship is meant for you to learn practical skills. You are not going to get that in government offices. So, what government offices require are people that are already skilled that would help. So, your internships should be more towards the private sector presence or startups. I think Parity and Lab Space have internship opportunities. So, that's somewhere someone should target. I think sometime back, not even up to a month, I saw an advert from Lab Space for requesting for interns. So those are the type of places you should focus more on doing your internship. Then after you get that experience, you can now come in if you want public sector experience and you get it. But if it's tech experience, you hardly get it in government offices. We outsource everything. Government is to do policies and regulation, not to do development and the likes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So the next question, does Niger State have an active virtual tech community?
For now, like I said, in terms of community, the communities should be able to answer themselves. The only virtual community I'm aware of is the GDG. I'm not yet aware of anyone in the state.
Okay, okay,
Let
okay.
me
So
let me add more to it. Catherine, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so for virtual tech communities, we have some that are physical, which is Open Source Community Africa, Minna chapter, and DGDG also. So far, these are the only two active virtual community that have been doing lots of activities regarding community engagement on tech ecosystem in Niger State entirely.
Okay, Umar, so can I continue now?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, all right. Thank you. So, sir, the next question. Will the recent no pay in tech training program be organized again? So many people were unaware of this opportunity and are interested in being a part of it.
For that, you'd have to reach out to the organizers. I think they have social media handles. Just send them the question. I was only there as an invited guest. But what I'm trying to do is, after this virtual scholarship they're doing, discuss with them to see how we can start having physical activities, at least in Bidda. That's for the Nupe Tech community. But just search social media handles for Nupe Tech community and send them a message, or search for Memuna Mezuma and send her a message on that.
Okay, so for the person that asked this question, no pain in tech training program, I think we have organizers for it, which is Mimona Penzuma, and I think there are others too. So you can
Yeah.
actually follow her off on Twitter or LinkedIn. So I think she can be in a good position to answer that question. So sir, to the next question. Okay, he said it's a suggestion. This is a suggestion. Niger State tech social media pages should be more active and responsive to the DMs. The response to messages from these pages are poor. Okay.
Okay. Let me answer that. Maybe the person by tech social media handle, you mean that of the ministry? First is, like I said, we're a ministry, we focus more on policies and co. So you don't expect me to start having our communications team and the rest of that. If we don't have activity, we don't post, we are silent. So that's the difference between handle and a business handle. Then issue of response to DMs, it depends on what you sent. That is what will determine your response. If you send just good morning, nobody has that time to follow you up with good morning. How are you? How is work? How is family? Just when you are sending emails, messages, and code to government, go straight to the point. You can put your good morning in the same message. The issue is XYZ, full details. So the response is going to be back to you in full details. But if you send questions like, for example, the last recruitment, all we did was supervise the portal, and you're asking us questions about the recruitment, we would not respond because your questions should go to Civil Service Commission, not our ministry. So know your message, straight to the point, and you get responses.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. For that person that asked that question, I think Honorable Commissioner have done justice to that to answer, give you the answer you needed. So to the next question by Sylvia, Parity Innovation Hub. Are there existing policies guiding establishment, support, and operations of innovation hubs in Niger State? If none, what is your office doing in that regard?
Okay, for now, there are no policies. That's the honest normal business premises. But what we are now trying to do first is, if we identify them, we would later on work with Office for Digital Innovation in Nigeria, that's ONDI, to now come up with a legislation that will pass to the House of Assembly to pass it into law. But before we do that, we have to be sure of how it is. We've seen states that have passed it into law, but it's not even being followed. So you have to, just having a policy document does not necessarily mean there will be implementation or adoption. So we have to be sure of that implementation and adoption, and that is what is going to drive the writing or formalization of such policies and laws. So it's more like a backward integration rather than just using theory to write a policy, and at the end of the day, implementation would be zero.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Sylvia, your all questions have been answered. So to the next question by one of the anonymous, how do you suggest that we improve technology adoption in the state?
Well, for I'm not. What I keep telling people is it depends on your definition of technology adoption. There are some challenges technology can solve, but you shouldn't even implement. So I believe more in let the society drive the adoption based on needs. Let me give an example. We have traffic lights in Minna, but how many people, it's technology, how many people obey the traffic light? So if you want people to obey traffic light, you have to put like 10 people to make sure motorists obey traffic lights or they will be arrested. However, you now have a junction that does not have traffic light. It only has one person controlling traffic with his uniform, and everybody obeys. So in the first place, you see, adopting that technology does not suit the landscape. So adoption should be driven more by the society and not by just feeling, yes, there's a technology for this, we need to do that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Um, okay. For the next question by an anonymous, how do you suggest that we improve information security awareness in the state as an infosec professional?
For that, as the professional, you can help by organizing awareness campaigns and awareness drives. I think we saw what Diary of Hackers were doing in the state and some other initiatives. So you can start that as a professional. So that's part of you giving back to the society. We mustn't wait for government to do everything. If we say government is still being run by human beings and with limited resources, so we are limited to what we can do at a time. So as individuals, you can start that as your own contribution to the society. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I think I'm really learning and enjoying this section because I think most people think government should actually be doing everything for them, relying on government, which they are supposed to actually contribute to the society too. So I think I'm actually learning too at the process of this section. So over to the next question, by an anonymous. How do you suggest that technology community organizers, okay, how do you suggest that technology community organizers broaden the scope of organizing events outside Mina, outside food Mina?
Okay, so before I answer that, I'm running short of time. I have a flight to catch. So I'm going to leave this meeting at exactly 12. So I'll just run through all the questions on the screen. Then maybe those that are online want to uh, have interaction so that we can do that in 5 minutes also before going out. So how do I broaden the scope of organizing outside food mina? The major challenge with most event organizers is available resources. Like I said, government cannot do everything. So go out there, look for partners that would fund, and you start that. Other thing is utilize the virtual space. You can start from virtual events. That way you have people signing up for your event from all over the globe, not just Footmin. And then when you have your footing, you can now start approaching private entities to finance cost of renting the hall and all that. So, but start virtually. That's the first thing you can start with.
Okay,
Then
that
you mentioned a mentorship. I will be interested in that. For that, like I said, we are still in discussion. So by next year, we are going to kickstart it. And it's part of why I asked Omar to help us collate a list of startups. So if you have a startup and we have your details, once we are ready for those discussions, we would send you messages. In fact, before the end of this year, the Nigerian Startup Act office is coming for an assessment, a readiness assessment in the state, and they would need to meet with startups. But however, if we don't have your contact information, we won't be able to invite you. So always do that. Just fill up the form that Umar dropped the link. Then how do we approach the government about using technology to analyze its data collection channels to aid research and development in the state? Send in a proposal on that, but think of your own funding. If you want government to pay for it, I'll be honest and frank with you, we will not pay because there are limited resources. So if you come up with a proposal and we see it's viable and the data is going to be secured, we'll definitely work with that on you. Is there a way of assistance segment on radio stations to raise awareness about activities of the technology communities? Well, we explored that at the beginning of our administration, but we are still yet, we did not see impact in that radio awareness. So it's why we are now more focused on face-to-face interactions for people. After that, we can now start talking about radio and the rest. So for now, we're not looking at radio. Can the Ministry and Priority Hub, which is the tech, collaborate to improve the internship opportunities for techies in Niger State? Definitely, why not? I think I even mentioned to your founder, we're supposed to even have that conversation. So if you want to do internships, what we can now offer you as a ministry is a lot of people come to us requesting for internship programs. We can always push them to you. Because in fact, I just stopped the acceptance of interns in my office, I think last week, because we got to a point where we had over 50 interns and most of them cannot even use Microsoft Excel. So what are they doing in our office? We don't have time. The entire ministry barely has 30 staff, of which some are administrative, some are clerical. So we don't even have time to train you. If Parity is willing to take that off our hands, definitely we'll be willing to push them. Then also, we currently have an engagement with UNDP for Nigerian Jubilee Fellows. I don't know if Parity has taken them up. So UNDP pays the salary for a year for people. So we can also push some of them to you if you haven't registered as a fellowship intake center. So any other question left?
That's all.
Um,
That's all.
Okay, so for those that did not type, I'm yours for 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask.
So everybody that is here that have any question for our Honorable Commissioner, please ask now.
Please, I
You
wanted
can
to
just
ask
raise
you,
up your hand
the
and
person
unmute your mic.
asked the security awareness. If the person is here, please, after you call, maybe you can talk to us and see how we can come up with something.
And just raise
Hello,
up
good
your
morning,
hand
sir.
and unmute.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning,
My
Sylvia.
name is thank you very much. My name is Sylvia. So I want to ask a question regarding the Jubilee Fellows because we actually did register as an intake organization, but the United Nations, they said they want an organization that have a staff strength of up to 50. Now this is Niger State. It's pretty much difficult to have like tech organizations that have staff of up to 50. So
Okay,
I don't know,
how many fellows do you need?
we can take up to 20.
You can take up to 20. What I'll suggest, if you have the contact of my senior special assistant, Aminu, or if you don't have the
Okay, sir.
contact, or if you have anybody's contact in my office, just tell them
Okay.
I said you want the fellows. So what we'll do is we'll take the fellows,
Yes, sir.
then post the fellows to you.
Okay,
However,
sir.
the problem you have is a bulk of the fellows are not tech inclined, they are not computer science graduates. You have business administration, engineering, and the likes. So you are
Okay.
going to get most of them as clean slates. You now have to work with them. So we can give you the 20.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
So thank you, Sylvia. Do you have anybody that has questions for our Honorable Commissioner before he can actually leave? Anybody, just unmute your mic. Anybody?
Cynthia, you too, you can ask your question if you have.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So my question should be more for women.
Okay.
So okay. So what initiative is the ministry actually putting to encourage and impact to give impact to women in Niger State? Because I
I
believe
think you
that
were
in Niger State, women are kind of not really fully in the tech kind of thing. So how can the ministry actually encourage and bring up initiative for them to be part of it?
okay. I think you were part of those that organized the Texas workshop. So that's our first starting point. And we have to drive women involvement in tech because, okay, let me open up now. We are having a conversation with Bank of Industry. There is going to be a fund of over 500 million US dollars that is coming in for creative industry and startups. Fortunately, Niger State is going to be one of the pilot states. Unfortunately, you must have 50% female matching. So if you only have two female founders of a tech company in the state, that means only 4 startups can be supported. All other male startups would not be supported. So that's why we have to now grow the female startup numbers before next year that will kickstart that initiative. So and what we feel is once we start, a lot of women will also start coming out. So as women currently, you, Sylvia and co, you can start coming up with, even if it's a virtual community, WhatsApp group, start identifying women in the States and bringing them out. So that gives you that advantage. And almost all our programs we're doing, women are priority. Uh, our bare minimum is 35% affirmative action. Unfortunately, we've been exceeding that a lot. But we see that most of the women are actually staff and not founders. So you have to start growing that number of female founders for us within the next 2 months.
Okay, so I think this question was I really enjoyed this question because I am actually starting. I started. I'm a founder. Okay, let me just say I'm starting to found a place for women basically. So I actually have a place that I'm actually going to be um maybe impacting and teaching women that are interested in tech. So I think this question is directly being answered to me. So thank you very much, sir. And for the virtual communities, we actually have group chat where women that are actually interested are in tech in Niger State are actually there that we actually used to share some information to them, maybe for a program or for a boot camp. So for that, we actually have communities. But for the funders, I think I am part of the funders for in women. So thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
So does
So
anybody have any question for
I
our
think I
honorable
have
commissioner?
one from my own end here.
Okay.
Yeah, just a quick one. So I don't know, how do you think we can come up with something that has to do with financial literacy? Because I notice some of the women themselves, they find it challenging when it comes to financial awareness and literacy itself. So any suggestion we can come up with programs for that?
okay, when you say financial literacy, kindly break it down for me. What form of literacy? Is it how to invest the money or how to save the money? Or what do you mean by financial literacy?
All of the above that you mentioned.
You can start that initiative yourself. So it mustn't
Okay.
come from us. So start organizing the training. You can do Telegram training, WhatsApp training, start from there. Facebook Live. So if Cynthia is having the women landscape, good and fine. So what we can now do is if your concept is very good As a government, we can use our own platform to push it out and give you a bit of leverage. I can always introduce you to Ministry of Women Affairs, for example, Ministry of MSMEs. But a major issue is MSMEs are not startups. But MSMEs has a large number. So that's why I haven't been working much with them, because I don't want MSMEs creeping in as startups to now take up what is due for startups. So, but we can always discuss that and now come up with the introductions and partnerships. So if it's financial literacy, MSMEs, women affairs, that should be your starting point. So we can always do that introduction.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Do anybody has question?
Yes.
Anybody?
Hello.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
So regarding the internship programs, I don't know if it's available. I'm new to everything. I've not really been around. I just recently got into the tech space. So I don't know if it's possible for the startups we have here in Minna, like you said, Lab Space and Parity, if they have virtual internship program, because some of us are students, we are not always in the States, we are in other universities, but we still want to have access to, we want to have that experience of working with real life tech, what would I even say? Real life tech project. So I don't know if it's possible they take virtual interns as well, or you have a agreement with them to arrange that. I don't know if that's possible.
Sylvia, please answer that. Sylvia, are you still on?
Okay. Yeah, I'm still here, sir. Okay, thank you very much, Rukayat, for that question. The thing is, we've not really had virtual interns, but since you is something that you have brought up, I think we will consider it. It's something that I'll need to discuss with the management in my organization, and then we can consider having virtual interns.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all very much for having me. I think GDG, you can keep the Slido open so that I can respond via messages later on after I arrive my destination, in case anybody has forgotten to ask. My vehicle is here. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you, sir. So, Umar,
So
over
thank
to you.
all right. Thank you very much, Catherine. So like I mentioned earlier on, we will have a game that will play. Let me reshare my screen. So if your name is not in this list, please let me know so that I will add your name to it. Please give me a minute. Okay, so this is it. So this whole thing will randomly pick 3. Okay, let me just add the number 4. 4 lucky winners that will be given t-shirts at our DevFest that's coming up this month, 9th of November. So if you have register, I'm sharing the link now so you can register. So can we confirm that our names are here? If your name is not here, just let me know, then I'll quickly add it. If it is, then I'll just spin and we'll see our lucky winners. Okay, all right. I think all the names are here. So let's start. Spin. Congratulations, Minna. So let's spin again. Congratulations. Congratulations. Then the last we have
Why is it that it's only the guys that are winning? What's going on?
So let me confirm if we have Nenchin on the call. Nenchin is on this call. What about Zoa Idris? So it seems Zoa Idris has left the call. It's not. So I need to see if we have another lucky person. We have congratulations to all our winners. So we hope to see you on the day of the event where we'll give you your free t-shirts. So thank you very much. Catherine, do you have anything to say before we wrap up the meeting? Okay, Bima, see your hand is up. Okay, Rukaya Hassan, I see your hand is up.
Okay.
After you.
I think Rukaya read her hand. Let her ask a question then or suggestion, then I'll do this.
Okay, all right. Rukaya, please.
All right, thank you, Bima. Good morning, sir. First of all, I would like to thank GGG for organizing this virtual session. It has really been insightful. I think ever since I registered, I've not really attended any. I've been missing the notification also this year. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Does GGG have a WhatsApp community or Telegram community where I can easily access some of this important information like sessions like this? Because the email at first, I think the first one I received like a month ago or 2 months ago, I'm not sure, it asked me session like this. I didn't know that I would have to still click the link and still sign up. I thought automatically I would receive the link, but I didn't. So I was wondering if there's another community, virtual one, maybe on WhatsApp, Telegram, maybe a more close-ended community where I can join, I can see updates like this.
Yes, we have a WhatsApp group. I think I just shared the links now. So we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and then you can email us. So I just shared the link right now, so you can check them out.
All right. Yes, I've seen it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So Bima, you can ask a question.
So I think I just have two things. One is a bit of a suggestion, and the other one is more like
Hello, Bima, your mic is off. Hello. Yeah, you can continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Is a way to, just for the sake of awareness, if there is a way to expand the GDG members to have, like more members on board that will be able to expand the reach of the organization, because I think right now in Niger State, you guys are the biggest online platform that we have. Almost all the online, stuff that I've seen is always coming from GDG. So my suggestion is just if there is a way you can expand the organization and have more people, come in board. They don't really have to like have a position of anything, but let them just be, part of the team, so that whenever something come up, we'll have like enough reach to reach out to people that are not aware of the event or anything that we have. Then the second thing regarding, is more of a marketing. Somebody asked a question regarding Web3 integration in government affairs. So I actually work for a startup that does blockchain abstraction. So basically what we do is we set up the infrastructure and everything for you. So you don't really need to, like, I don't know, how conversant everybody here is with blockchain technology, but basically what we do is we set up the infrastructure, all the contracts and everything for you. So we currently have features like transfer, invoice creation, user management, authentication, and everything. So all you have to do is you register with us, we give you an endpoint, and you'll be able to implement or do whatever you want to do with those endpoints. Definitely we charge a monthly fee, but it's really, compared to the convenience that will bring for you, is not really that much. So please, if the person that asked that question will be able to, reach out to me, I'll be very, very glad to, explain what we do further for him. So thank you very much. And thank you guys also for organizing a program like this. It's really means a lot to us, and serve as a way for other people, to get into the community and see how we can build things together. So thank you very much, Umar and Catherine.
All right, thank you very much, Vima. We really appreciate your first feedback. Right now, we're actually on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So we're not really active on Instagram and LinkedIn, but right now we have an account on LinkedIn and Instagram. So we will try our possible best to see that we're active, but mostly we're active on Twitter and Facebook. So we'll mostly share most of our activities in those places. So if you follow us in those places, you'll be seeing most of our activities that are happening or coming up. So against next year, we'll take this up and we'll make proper adjustment to this. Thank you very much, Vima. And for the Web3 question that the person asked, I'm really much interested in that because there are some few Web3 communities coming up Minna here. Like for example, I think is it the Solana community here in Minna. So possibility, you guys can meet. He's in the WhatsApp group, so you can join the WhatsApp group using that link, and you can ask, and you guys can connect and take it up from there. If you can collaborate and even reach out to the ministry on Web3 awareness, it's very cool and fine. So thank you very much.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. I will reach out to her.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. See you on the next one.